was initiated and spearheaded by both the Latino and the API legislative caucuses to provide financial resources to qualified nonprofit legal services organizations to assist immigrants eligible for naturalization or deportation relief under the president's executive orders. Well, today's a historic day in California because for the first time in our state's history, the California legislature, with the support of Governor Jerry Brown, we included $15 million to assist over 2.5 million immigrant families all across the state of California. This is to provide assistance in citizenship for 2.5 million lawful permanent residents and also over 1.5 million residents who could qualify for the president's DACA and DAPA programs once they work their way through the federal courts. But in December, the Department of Social Services announced that it had awarded those $15 million that we secured to qualified nonprofit and legal services organizations across the state, including $3.7 million alone to organizations in Los Angeles. Many of these awardees are here today, and I want to say congratulations to all of them. But California is home, as we all know, to more than 10 million immigrants of all walks of life, and we certainly have the largest immigrant population that's going to be able to benefit from naturalization and DACA and DAPA. And through these programs, we are in a unique position to lift up our immigrant families out of poverty and increase their financial security. And in fact, according to the President's Council on Economic Advisors, DACA and DAPA could boost California's GDP by up to $27.5 billion over the next 10 years. And at the same time, because naturalization increases earnings of new citizens anywhere from 11 to 14%, California could see a $4.6 to $5.8 billion aggregate increase in immigrant income from naturalization. And here in California, the legislature has recognized that when we give opportunities for economic prosperity and to lift their families up, California is going to keep advancing and keep on a path towards economic recovery. This is a win for the state, a win for the economy, and certainly a win for our local communities and our families.
As a lot of you know, I worked in the nonprofit sector for about 20 years prior to serving in the legislature. I ran gang reduction programs, Head Start programs, and preschool programs, mostly serving immigrant families in South, East, and East Los Angeles. Every day I talked to and interacted with these families, and they were simply pursuing the dream of greater opportunity for themselves and their children. For many of them, the ultimate symbol of that opportunity was citizenship. That's why I'm proud to stand with my colleagues, with Senator De Leon, with Luis Alejo, with Ed Chow, with Jimmy Gomez, with Reggie Jones-Sawyer, all in strong support of the goals of funding provided by One California. $15 million will go toward helping folks to attain citizenship through English classes and help with the citizenship processing and testing. It's important throughout California. It's important because we have such a diverse community and such a large immigrant population. Well, we certainly are ahead of the curve, and we certainly are in embracing immigrants while a lot of states seem to be turning their back on them. Once we get folks across the finish line of citizenship, we need to remember that we not neglect the value of fully engaging them in our democracy. That means registering them to vote. That means taking steps toward making sure that voting is more accessible. And that means creating a culture of voting and remembering that voting in every election is a critical responsibility of every citizen. This is something that I will work on. This is something that I know Kevin De Leon is working on, and that we will work together as a legislature.
It is estimated that almost 2.5 million Californian immigrants are eligible for citizenship, as mentioned. Most of them simply need assistance from trusted community-based organizations to help them navigate the naturalization process. You know, as a former immigration lawyer, I can attest that that process could be very daunting. There are nearly 800,000 Asian immigrants in California who are eligible for naturalization. These are individuals who could become citizens and participate in civic engagement as voters. Additionally, California has the largest number of undocumented Asian American and Pacific Islander immigrants.
And as chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, we are joined in partnership in making sure that this program leads the way. California, not only are we the 7th largest economy, we are the trailblazers in this country of things that need to be done. And so as those other candidates talk about I'm thinking about what I'm going to do about immigration. California is doing something about it. And I'm standing here with my colleagues from the Assembly and the Senate, letting you know that we're going to continue to fight to make this a perfect program and that we lead the way in immigration.
And I'm proud to stand here with all of you regarding One California, because it reminds me that I am a son of immigrants. I'm a brother of immigrants. My parents and my two siblings were all born in Mexico, and they immigrated here back in the 1970s. But they actually had an opportunity to legalize their status right after the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986. And I remember getting up very, very early at times to go to San Bernardino, I lived in Riverside at the time, to try to stand in line to see if we can get our paperwork in order. And it was often the nonprofit groups that were helping the immigrant communities that helped us navigate that system. So this One California, the $15 million is going to provide that extra guidance that a lot of these immigrants need to really figure out the process. And it is something, although I was born here and I was born a citizen, it is an experience that still sits with me today. And that is why I continue to fight with the Latino caucus, their pro tem, and the next speaker-elect to make sure that every immigrant in California has an opportunity to not only legalize their status, but also to thrive here in California.
I'm really saying that this has been an effort of coalition building. It represents the many interests, the many different immigrants who come from all parts of the world, but what we have in common is that we call California our home. I think this is good. We gave grants today to over 60 organizations that help immigrants of all walks of life, and all parts of the state. So this is something that's truly going to benefit all immigrants from all over California.